compromise our economic development for the sake of achieving security and stability. And they understood and they supported me wholeheartedly. It is because of this there was a time that we suspended the sale of our new SIMs for over 6 months. Before, SIM was very abundant. People used to go and buy SIM, commit crime and destroy it easily. Their identity was not known. Some people were detained in Nigeria with 500 SIMs then, before this enforcement. But today it becomes a national resource to the extent that if you obtain a SIM, your identity is known.
Despite beating back the Boko Haram terrorists, the insurgents that have held parts of the Sahel region captive for years started making incursions into Nigeria.
It's frustrating, but we have achieved some results. Firstly, when we close the borders, so especially with Niger, from Lake Chad to Benin Republic, it's more than 1,500 kilometers. And with Benin itself,
we came in and met an asymmetric situation in which the enemy is also embedded in our society. There's not necessarily someone who wears the uniform of any specific organization and you can identify him by his uniform. It's more often not he is within society. So it wasn't a very, very simple endeavor for us to overcome the problems.
We recognize it as a challenge that is surmountable. With the cooperation of all members of the public and the government, we are going to change the narrative very soon.
First and foremost, President Buhari understood the fact that dealing with this type of problem was not a purely kinetic or military requirement. It had to be in conjunction with the larger Nigerian society and even going further with our immediate neighbors and then the wider international community. So he strengthened the framework of the intelligence organization so that there would be greater synergy and collaboration with the armed forces. So the operational elements were working hand in hand with the intelligence elements.
I can tell you that this administration is one administration that has truly and genuinely resourced the armed forces in terms of procurement of equipment. And because equipment are not things you buy off the shelf, sometimes you place orders for them. The Air Force has been well equipped in terms of platforms. The Army have continued to receive armaments, armories, and I believe that you hand over a safer Nigeria to the incoming government. We have working tools in terms of vehicles, in terms of technical aids, in terms of body armor, in terms of arms and ammunition, and so forth. So this has enhanced our level of operation. We have also been motivated by having an increase in our manpower. That is the recruitment which we've been doing for the past 3 years with an yearly increase of 10,000 personnel to the workforce. We have some gunboats and marine patrol boats that were procured during this administration, which is assisting us greatly. We have air support. As at the time I came in, only 2 police helicopters were working. As of now, we have 6 police helicopters that are providing air surveillance with 1 aircraft. We have undertaken over 500 rescue operations, patrols to deter and prevent crime from happening is yielding a lot of result.
Before the coming of the Buhari administration, the military was at its lowest ebb. Once known as one of the biggest fighting forces in the world, successive administrations since the 1990s have starved the military of training, equipment, and funds. When the battle against the terrorists and the insurgents happened, they were largely unprepared. The Buhari administration went to bat trying to change that from day one.
Mr. President has done so much. Within the time he came,
by virtue of his focus and commitment to changing the tide, brought so many equipment on board for us to be able to train and be equipped for the task ahead of us. He provided resources for us to procure additional helicopters, both combat and heavy-duty lift helicopters, which are now within the inventory of the Nigerian Air Force. And as we speak, there is a seagoing vessel that is sailing through our shores, just left South Africa on its way here as part of the induction of new vessels into the Navy. Besides that, we also took inventory of 3 seagoing vessels that not only were they procured, one amongst the 3 was also constructed in the country. Besides that, there are so many other OPVs which the President provided the resources for us to be able to make available to improve on the security situation within the maritime domain.
Mr. President, Heads of State and Government, Secretary General, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, I wish to thank the General Assembly for the honor bestowed on the government and people of Nigeria by electing our national His Excellency Tijani Muhammad Bande to the presidency of the 74th session of this august body. This is indeed a great honor to our country.
The Nigerian global brand is much stronger. And I think a lot of that is due to the persona of the President Muhammadu Buhari. He's widely respected across the globe, and so he has become really the personification in many ways of the country. So the country is able to benefit from his personal brand, and his personal brand is of a leader who is an anti-corruption crusader. For this reason, he was made the anti-corruption champion of the African Union and was invited by global heads of states on that basis. He's also recognized as a very strong and effective leader. And we've seen this with the number of Nigerians he has been able to put in the most important organizations in the world.
One of the biggest legacies he leave for democracy is free and fair election. No president before had allowed his party to lose an election. But Buhari will allow things to work as they should, and he'll be the first to congratulate the winner from an opposition party.
President Muhammadu Buhari has suffered for the Nigerian politician. He ran 3 times against all the odds before he won the 4th time. He doesn't want any other politician aspiring for the nation's highest office to go through this crucible. He is committed to leaving an important legacy for future generations. One of the respect, total respect of the voter, because in every democracy, the voter is the king. Nigerian voters, he insists, must be respected. The assurance he gives is one of leaving a legacy of free, fair, and transparent election, and so shall it be in 2023.
I think if you judge by what he has done, and not so much about what he says, is that the first places he went after he was elected were the neighboring countries. And he has spent a lot of time and efforts on trying to secure our neighbors and also the West African sub-region. So we oppose unconstitutional change of government in Mali, in Burkina Faso, and Chad and elsewhere. He had also emphasized the need to strengthen African institutions, not just Nigeria doing it alone, but strengthen African institutions in terms of commitment to developing the security, the prosperity and welfare of the people.
We have a president who is not a now person. He looks to the future, what lies ahead for the nation, for its large population. We have lost opportunities to put basic necessary infrastructure in place, even when we had money and we didn't know what to do with that money. So he's in a hurry to recover that deficit in infrastructure. And he's been investing all of his energy, all of his time to ensure that that lost opportunity is recovered.
We have very major physical infrastructure that have been deployed, completed, and put to use. We have the rail lines. We have 4 airports that have been completed. Those are major projects, and we funded them. We've been able to consistently pay salaries and pensions and fund government.
What we have done is visible, so you can't dispute it. For those who are cynical and who seek to weaponize some of our setbacks for political advantages, I don't feel sorry for us. We will respond when the time for politicking is afoot, and that time is now crystallizing. So as I've always said to them, I challenge you to come and debate us. We will then show our results card, and we will run on the basis of what we have done with our time and with our resources.
One of the issues that is confronting Nigeria today is a trust deficit. And it's as a result of long years of neglect. What is happening? However laudable the policies are, people are suspect of the intentions of government, and is informed by several years of neglect. And that's what we've been trying to rekindle afresh in the hearts of the people of this country, that yes, we've had bad experiences, but can we be given an opportunity to turn the process around so that we can rebuild those confidence elements, that the people will begin to trust government, will begin to trust government policies.
We are in a new security environment. Yes, I understand there will be mutual suspicion and acrimonious relationships with some security agencies by virtue of past experiences, but we have to let what happened in the past, remain in the past and forge new alliances. We have to work with community leaders to be able to protect the larger society. So it is important for Nigerians, first of all, to understand that whatever effort we're going to make will amount to nothing without their support.
This is a government that has faced more greater economic and security challenges than any other in our history, except during the war, just in terms of security. But we've even faced greater security challenges than any other. So I think that just in terms of the capacity to respond and the capacity to remain standing and effective despite all of those economic and security challenges, people will probably realize that these guys did quite well, given the challenges that they faced. And I hope also that history will be a fairer judge than our political opponents.
What I have uncovered through my experience is that the developing countries, we can't do hop, step and jump, if you know what I mean. We just have to go through the painful processes of development. I hope they will be able to read and understand the condition Nigeria was when I came in. I hope we will have the time to read and try to reflect, because we have no other country who are on other than Nigeria.